First of all, y'all, I'm so sorry about my tardiness with part two of the reunion of the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 8. But I was just out and honestly lost track of time, and things just started happening in the process, and then work was also getting in the way. So it was just a lot. But I'm getting ready to give it to y'all now, and that's just it. And boom, bam, and a partridge in a pear tree. Okay, so let me think. I have like notes and stuff, but I still want to like think. Okay, all right. Um, we have Kenya and Portia. They're going back and forth. They're having their moment. Portia's got, Portia is really like, you know, there she's jumping in and giving her comments. She's never been. I don't remember Portia being this outspoken, but I guess the show has really changed her, like many other people on the show. um, like Kim Fields, because she finna get turned up. Like Kim Fields is not the one, especially on part three. Kim Fields finna go in, and so it's a little bit of regime coming out, a little bit of what was the theme song of Living Single? Why I got the Fresh Prince theme song in my head? I don't know why. Um, Citizen, we are living single. In a 90s kind of world, I'm glad I got my girls. Keep your head up, boy, keep your head up, that's right. When you slick the tongue, you gotta fight with my homegirl study to my left and my right, choop choop. You sound like this. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just a trap queen underneath it all. All right, so let's just get straight into it. Kenya and Portia, they going back and forth. The and what was they going back and forth about, y'all? I cannot remember that part. Um, it was about the whole fight scene, I think, with her and Kenya, with Portia and Kenya. The old thing. She was just like, I wish you just stop using that as a clutch and just completely stop bringing that up. So they get into it, and Portia was like, let's talk about you and the one-eyed African, honey. He's a creature, honey. Apparently, Kenya had this affair with this one-eyed African married man or something. It's just always something about an African man on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Where the hell are these Africans at? They're not in South Carolina where I'm at. Like, where the hell are these Africans? Because they just throwing coins out, like just left and right. I can dress up and get some old queen to hook me up in an old drag outfit and go out there and get me a damn African. Cause look, when that light bill come out, he don't care. They do not care. When bills come out, they don't care what's going on. They don't care if you just had a baby. They don't care if you cold, your grandma cold, ain't nowhere to stay. They don't care. They want the bills paid, and they will cut your ass off. It's real. Where's these damn Africans, y'all? There's not that many down here for real. Everybody need to go to New York or something. I don't know. But anyway, they going back and forth, and Kenya was just like, look, at the end of the day, no matter what you say, the point is that you have been in 3 fights, and all that good stuff. Well, it's not good, but whatever. Okay, we get into Portia and Cynthia and the whole fight scene. Cynthia, the whole thing is, just personal space. Don't get in my personal space. Don't get up in my face doing all this and that and this and that. And, not expect a reaction. Um, it's the same thing with Kenya. Kenya was all up in Portia's face with the bullhorn. And, Portia reached out and touched her. We fall down, but we get up. They both fell down together and they eventually got up from the fight. So, let's see. And they was just going back and forth. Cynthia's personal space. Uh, okay, Portia said that she had an abdominal contusion, guys. I think that's what she said. And Cynthia was apparently like, oh, well, Phaedra told me that you got all those bumps and bruises and shit from me. Now, when I look back at it, Cynthia did give her whole nasty kick. But I believe Cynthia had on flats. And when she kicked her in the stomach or whatever, then she fell, then the security guard hopped on top of her. which I actually think was Carlos King, one of the executive producers, and he also produced Hollywood Divas with Todd Tucker, Candy's man. So that's why I actually think that was, but whatever they say it was security. Um, so I'm trying to figure out. I'm sure she was bruised and hurt from that one kick, but did that one kick give her all those moments? She was just like she was bruised and, and beat up and all that shit. And Portia was just like, no, I didn't say it came from that. But Cynthia was like, well, Phaedra said that you said it came from that. And not Phaedra, LaOya, she wanted to get up and say something. She was just like, well, I did see that she was definitely bruised and all this, but you didn't admit to anything, Phaedra. So who you stop playing? And Portia and Andy kept asking Cynthia. Cynthia was like, look, shit, I don't know. Maybe she whooped her own ass and put it in the hospital. I hollered. Cynthia's usually, tired on her little reads. But, sometimes she get a good one in there, which is actually funny. But that was funny because it just made me think about y'all remember Thin Line Between Love and Hate with Lynn Whitfield and Martin Lawrence. And she beat her own ass. She put that orange in that stocking. She was whooping her ass, making it seem like he did it because she was so mad at him because he didn't want to be with her no more. Once he found out that she was a nutcase. Yeah, it just brought me back to that scene. I just started laughing. All right. Let's see. All right, we get into the whole Kenya thing. Kenya and her family. They had the whole family reunion and things. Andy asked a good question, a question that many people that was on social media, a question that many people thought of. Andy asked, he was just like, "Look, do you think that if the cameras weren't there, do you think that your mama would have answered the door?" And she was just like, "Absolutely not." She was just like, "I've tried many times." She was like, she can remember back when she was younger, when she stayed at her mother's house, Kenya's grandmother's house, on her mom's side, saying, like, I just want to be a friend, and you don't have to be a mother to me. And Kenya mama was like, no, I don't even want to be your friend. It's just really amazing. Kandi chimed in. She was just like, I would be so mad at if I was in her family. I would be so mad at her mom. I would be like, no, you need to talk to your daughter. Like, you really need to fix your relationship with your daughter. See, I switched my voices up. Um, my daughter that came from New York. I gotta do my New York review. So anyway, um, it's just absolutely crazy. Like, I was with Kandi. I was like, if I was in that family, if I was a cousin or an uncle or a nephew or something, like I would really be giving it to Kenya's mother right now. Like, it's crazy. I don't under Kenya's mother obviously has allegedly it seems like she has some kind of mental disability or something because I don't understand that. And people saying that Kenya just doing this for the cameras and this and that. I mean, Kenya has been saying from the very beginning that she has no relationship with her mother and all their issues. So I don't know how people could think that she was just doing this for the cameras. Now she just so happened to, she wanted most of her family was in Detroit, and that's where her mom still stays. So she knocked on her mama door. I don't see what's the issue with that. Even if she was doing it for the cameras, that's still her mama. Like, she can do what the hell she want to do. And then they play Auntie Cisco and her opinions on it. You don't have the right to knock on her door. That Kenya's mom side of the family is just really twisted in the head. I don't know what's going on. What's the tea with that? But God bless them all. My God. A fan wrote in. He was just like, he commented on what Portia said. Portia was just like, I believe it was at the when Kenya was talking about the whole thing at the Beatless brunch, that Kim was hosting. And Portia was just like, it's kind of makes you think if somebody like Kenya who's often hard or whatever, like, if she can't give love if she's never received love. Kenya was just like, she felt like that was a dig and this and that. Kenya, I don't necessarily feel like that was a dig. I mean, it was just one of those things that everybody was kind of sort of thinking. Um, I'll say over and over again, I do like Kenya. I think she's crazy and I'm crazy and I understand her and I realize that her craziness is just for the show in particular. She's doing what she got to do to sit right on that front line when it comes time for these reunions. She's doing what she have to do to sit right next to Andy, be that first seat on her right. on Andy's right, be the first woman in that seat, and she's doing what she got to do to keep these checks coming. She has to finish more manner, and so there you go. So but where was I going? Okay, so I honestly didn't feel like what Portia said was a dig. She was just thinking what everybody else was saying. But of course, Kenya, she has to make everything um kind of negative and bring everybody else into it. She was just like, I felt like it was a little bit of a dig, and she was just like, look, I had love thanks to my father and his family, but I just never received it from my mama, which is terrible. Like, there's nothing like a mother. All right, so hmm, let's see. Okay, they got into Cynthia and Peter. Peter came out there sharp, looking like he's a funeral director or something. And Andy was asking him all kind of questions like, do you feel like if your wife left the show or she wasn't on the show that it would your marriage would be better? He was just like 10 times as better. I'm sure you feel that way, Peter, because then when nobody give their opinions on your marriage, like duh. Like, once you get on a reality show, everybody's gonna be in your business. Everybody's gonna find your old tea, your current tea, and your future tea. So I mean, it is what it is. Like, I mean, you knew what it is. Like when she signed up for the show and you agreed to it, you agreed to be on the show. Well, she agreed to be on the show, but you're her husband, so it's a package deal, pretty much. Except she the only one that's getting paid. But it's just like, I mean, it is what it is. And obviously the world wouldn't see, especially in past seasons, how awful you was at times to her, and give their opinions. So of course your marriage would be better if Cynthia wasn't on the show, because wouldn't nobody be able to watch all the bullshit that you do, that she allows. Of course. So uh Portia, she starts to chime in, and she has an opinion on this. And apparently she feels like Peter's waitresses is getting paid with dick, that he's screwing all of them in Charlotta. And that Peter and Cynthia are definitely having issues. You can kind of tell it's a little tense. Peter was just like, "Look, I'm still in love with my wife. We still married. We good. This and that." Cynthia's story is we're a little shaky. I just think this is the end of the road for their marriage. I do think that a reality show um, definitely kind of hurts your situation in a way. Oh well, definitely. It's been proven with many times with many people on reality shows. But I mean, it's just a risk you take. I mean, you do what you got. It's all about that coin, right? A lot of these people are, their coins aren't as popular as they once was back in the day. So these reality shows is all they got really to stay current. So hey, all right. So and Cynthia was just like, well, if he's cheating with all these people, I think I would find out and this and that. Not necessarily, Cynthia. And and then Kenya chimed in. And she was just like, Portia, you don't even know what you're talking about, because if it's not a dick in it, you don't even know what you're saying. I was like, ooh. And then Portia shot back with, how about the one that you tuck every day before you come to work, bitch? I was like, ooh, that was a mess. They got to Portia a little bit under her skin, because basically Peter was calling Portia. Portia was calling Peter out about being a hoe and cheating on his wife, that is all around Atlanta, this and that. I want to show the receipts. Peter said that, show the receipts. Show them receipts. Give the receipts. Diane, give me the receipts. Okay? Give me the receipts. Like, if it's true, put it out there, Portia. I mean, but she's probably not going to do that. But, I mean, he told you could, so I think you should. We all want to see or whatever. But if Peter is cheating on Cynthia, I'm not surprised. Hell, I still think Todd messing around with somebody, but we'll leave that. Allegedly, allegedly, allegedly. All right. So that's pretty much it. Peter gets up and leave, and he'll come back when the husbands get there in part 3. And the boyfriends and the lovers. Okay. Hmm. Okay, they bring out little Aiden. Little Aiden has an appearance. He's cute as a button. Cute, 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 cute kids. Phaedra got. And he had this little scene. Andy talked to him and everything, adorable. Then he walks off, and Aiden didn't even get off the set good before Andy got into Phaedra's segment, which was funny. And they get into the whole Apollo thing. The first thing that Andy asked Phaedra was about the whole Apollo thing. And then how was the trip? And Phaedra's just like, well, he seemed like he was happy to see us. And Andy was like, us? What you mean us? And Phaedra was like, well, he asked for me to come back alone. Andy was like, for a conjugal visit. I was like, okay. It was a mess, but it was a lot of things that went on when Phaedra was there. Apparently, it was some guy, and like two guys sleeping with each other, masturbating, or some guy solo masturbating, or some mess. It was some porno hub moments. And she was just like, it's kind of weird to explain that to your children about what's going on. With that, I mean, I'm sure it is. It's quite shocking and scary and nerve wracking. My God, but I'm sure Phaedra, in a weird way, found a little pleasure in it. I'm just saying, y'all know she a freak. All right. So let's see. Uh, Phaedra also said that she got a little hype for a second. She was just like, people giving their opinions on my husband and my marriage and my kids when they never really checked on me or they didn't check on my kids. And Andy was like, "Who the hell are you talking to?" And Andy was like, "Oh, you mean Kandi when she gave her opinions?" And she was just like, "Yeah." So Kandi was just like, "Okay, okay. See, I wasn't gonna say nothing, but you trying my life right now." So Kandi, she decides to intervene, and she was just like, "Look, I just thought it was very sad that Dylan does not even know his father. That he's gonna come home and this and that." And Phaedra was like, "Yeah, but Apollo has to be accountable for his actions, and he did this and he did that." But Kandi was like, "Yeah, but you married him, which is the core of everything, Phaedra. You married him. You knew exactly what he was when you picked him up the first time. Okay, you knew exactly what he was, and you're shocked that he's still that. Like, let's just keep it real." Um, I do feel bad at the end of the day for the kids, and slightly bad for Apollo because it's just another black man in the system. And which I don't like, and what I do understand because that's I am black and a man. Um, so I mean I get all that, but at the end of the day, Phaedra, you knew what he was, you knew what he did, and you still went through with the marriage, and you still had kids with him. So exactly how much sympathy is somebody supposed to get? Paige was just like, you know what, Kandi, when me and you was close, I never commented on things that was emotional for you. And I was just like, well, Phaedra, you don't have to because everything is emotional for Kandi. She's always about to cry. She's always about to cry all the damn time, and her voice is so shaky. That's just Candace. It's just how she expresses herself. She's a very passionate, emotional person. She's an artist like me. We're emotional about our shit. You feel me? Um. Okay, so let's see. Enjoy the music. Okay. And Kandi also brought up the fact that Phaedra was just like, nobody was checking on the kids and this and that. Kandi was just like, well, at the time, I thought, well, excuse me, sorry. Well, at the time, I thought, that you wouldn't even let me see the kids because we wasn't cool like that, Phaedra. I have to keep it real with you. If I'm gonna be your friend, I have to keep it real with you and be honest. I can't just tell you what you're gonna hear all the time. You wouldn't have let me get them kids because we wasn't speaking. Then Cynthia intervened. She was just like, hold up, let me jump in real quick. She was just like, Phaedra, I've definitely expressed to you that I would definitely take the kids if you allow me to take the kids. But at the time also when all this was going down with Apollo, we wasn't cool either. I think this was during the time when Cynthia started being messy and she was just like, that Phaedra's messing around with Mr. Chocolate and this and that. So Phaedra, she probably wouldn't have let them see the baby. So I mean, it is what it is. And then Kim chimed in. She was just like, we got two boys or whatever, and I have a gay husband. Excuse me, allegedly. I mean, she has a husband. And we'll have the boys and take care of the boys and this and that and help you out when we can. And Phaedra's just like, yeah, I appreciate that. But you see, Phaedra wasn't gonna bring that up. She wasn't going to bring up her support that the girls have actually reached out to her. She just kind of wanted to make it seem like it wasn't nobody there for her but Portia and Nene. When obviously we found out that the girls did try or would try to reach out to her if they was in a better place. But I'm sure they've all, come full circle except for her and Kandi, and so they will, I believe in my head that they will work out, help out with the boys if Phaedra allows them to. But I doubt if any of them are really friends anyway, so whatever. All right. So the final thing they got into was the whole Glenn thing. This kind of pissed me off. This whole thing, all over again. Y'all remember Glenn, Tammy's nephew, that piece of trade with his boyfriend, which I believe, who was there with him, Tammy's nephews. I wonder if he's actually Tammy's nephew. Nobody ever thought about that. Like, you know how we is. That's my cousin. That's my cousin, but they're not really blood related. But they kind of grew up together, whatever. Maybe Tammy is just best friends or good friends with his mama, so he called her his aunt or whatever. But anyway, they get into that whole thing, and Phaedra in her confessional, she was going on and saying that Kenya's no different from white woman in suburbia. And they showed the scene with her and Sheree because they both have boys, and she was just like, the stereotype, and that could be our boys and this and that. She got really emotional. She also compared the situation to Ferguson situation, and Mike Brown and all them. And Phaedra, you tried it with that. This is a totally different type of situation. Your dislike for Kenya is so strong that you will pin anything on her. You'll pin murder on that woman. I guarantee you. And that's pretty much what was going down. They get into that whole moment. They Somebody tweeted, was like, Phaedra, no, you did not compare that to Ferguson. And Kenya, yes, she did. Kenya, it's her time to jump in. Yes, she did. She did do that. And she was just like, that's just crazy. You shouldn't do that. That doesn't make any sense. And Kenya, she always has to have she has to bring up something that went down the outside source. So she brings up the fact that the president of Black Lives Matter, tweeted Phaedra and said, "There's two totally different situations. You made an ass of yourself and this and that." Kenya also brought up the fact that the boy, he's had issues in the past and this and that. This whole time then Kandi chimed in, and I'll jump in there in a minute. But this whole time they was talking, I was just thinking, I was like, did anybody forget that Glenn threw his auntie, which was Tammy, down on the floor? Tammy was damn near casket sharp. Did anybody forget that they threw that he threw that Greek goddess Tammy down to the ground? Child, we thought Tammy should be wrapped in plastic wrap. We thought she was done and put in the freezer. I was just like, what the hell? Did everybody forget the fact that he threw his own aunt down on the floor? Yet Portia, Phaedra, Sheree kinda, and Kim surprisingly is defending the young man. Oh, I didn't feel threatened. I didn't feel threatened. Okay. So, but is it because it wasn't you that you didn't feel threatened? Is it because he was just fucking with Kenya, and so it's not a big deal anymore? So you didn't feel threatened? Oh, because whatever anybody does to Kenya, she deserves, right? Just because you don't like her. I don't get that kind of thinking. I really don't. Even if I don't like a person, like I'm still not gonna like wish harm on them like that. I mean, they have to do something really, really terrible for me too. To me, or somebody who I love dearly. I don't get that. But anyway, thank God for Kandi throughout this whole thing, because Kandi actually stood up for Kenya. And they was just like, you know what, it was only an issue when Kandi said something. Cynthia chimed in as well. Cynthia was just like, look, it's because it was Kenya as to why y'all trying to flip it. And they was just like, no, it's not because it was Kenya. Like, yes, it was because of Kenya. Um, Kim said that she didn't feel threatened by the young man, and Sheree was just like, well, Kenya invited him to the house, but they showed the scene, and Kenya was just like, look, just invite your nephews or whatever to the house, and she did admit to that she did. I mean, they was coming around. I mean, they was around them already. They was getting ready to leave from eating. Like she was just like, well, let them come back to the house or whatever. There's still no excuse. Like who knew that who just randomly invites crazy people to their house? Like she didn't know. Did nobody know? But Sheree was like, well, we should just do background checks. Phaedra was like, oh, well, you just didn't. You wanted him, but he didn't want you. That's all it was. They showed a scene where Glenn was right in the pool with Phaedra and them around, and he was talking shit, bitches and asses, and cussing all around, like. And she didn't see an issue with that. But see, it doesn't surprise me that Phaedra didn't see an issue with that. I mean, look who she married. So there you go. She's used to that kind of aggressive ass behavior. Um, and so, Kandi was just like, he was coming at me all aggressive. I was pregnant. He called her, you bitch ass bitch, and this and that. Kenya didn't hit him. Kenya didn't disrespect him. Kenya didn't even call him out of his name like she probably should have. She was standing like 10 feet away from him. He walked up on her, little bitch, like the trade that he is. He threw Tammy down on the ground. She was cold. And, it was just a mess. Like, it's just crazy. And Kandi read them. She definitely did. She was just like, this is just all about you not liking Kenya and all this, and let's just keep it real. And they ain't have shit to say after that. And that was pretty much part two of the reunion, y'all. It was just craziness as usual. But part three is over with. Sorry I didn't dress up in my whole little ratchet get up that I be doing sometimes. But yeah, it's late here, and I just really didn't have time or whatever. I got to work tomorrow and all that good stuff. Anyway, life twirls on, as Kenya was saying. I'm Mr. Chalaki. My mouth is so dry. Sorry, I can't do it. But anyway, I'm Mr. Chalaki. Mr. Chalaki on Google Plus. Follow me at ITSKINGWORLD on Twitter and Instagram at ITSKINGWORLD89 on Snapchat, and Chase King was here on Facebook. Be my friend. I would really appreciate it. Of course, I'll add you. All right. So like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Part two. See y'all soon for part three.